There is a fungus in the rainforest that does something no horror movie writer could invent. It creeps into the brain of a living ant, takes the wheel, and drives that ant to a very specific spot up a plant, on the north side, almost exactly 25 centimeters off the ground. There, it forces the ant to bite down on a leaf vein so hard its jaw locks forever. Then it kills the ant, sprouts out of the back of its head, and rains spores down on the next victims below. This is real. It's happening right now. And scientists have just figured out how. Welcome to Science Curiosity. The villain has a name, Ophiocordyceps unilateralis. It's a parasitic fungus, and its target is the carpenter ant. But calling it a killer doesn't quite capture what it does. Because this fungus doesn't just kill at choreographs. Under its influence, an infected ant leaves the nest at an odd, specific time of day. It moves randomly, convulsively. It climbs upward, always to that same 25 centimeter mark, always on the north side of the plant. It bites the leaf vein, and the moment it does, the muscles in its mandibles begin to deteriorate. Lockjaw sets in. The ant is now permanently anchored, legs still kicking and twitching in the air. A few hours later, the twitching stops. The fungus has killed its host. It then grows throughout the ant's head, sprouts out of the back of the skull, anchors itself to the plant, and releases antimicrobial chemicals to protect its position. Finally, it grows fruiting bodies and releases its spores, spawning the next generation. And it doesn't do this to just one ant. Ophiocordyceps unilateralis has been known to wipe out entire carpenter ant colonies, leaving behind dense aerial graveyards of ant carcasses hanging in the trees. The obvious question is, how? How does a fungus with no brain, no nervous system take over the mind of an insect with such surgical precision? That's exactly what a research team at Pennsylvania State University set out to answer. The team turned to modern genetic techniques. They sequenced the genome of Ophiocordyceps unilateralis and compared it against related fungi. Out of 7,831 genes they analyzed, something unusual stood out. The fungus carries genes coding for toxins that are not commonly found in fungi at all. Some resemble cholera toxins, the same family produced by the bacteria that cause diarrheal disease. Others resemble enterotoxins. And that second group is especially interesting, because enterotoxins are known to disrupt chemical communication. Ants, of course, live and die by chemical communication. Their entire social structure depends on it. But the researchers wanted to go further. They wanted to know which genes were actually switched on at the exact moment the zombie ant was locked onto its leaf, still kicking. So, they took the heads of infected ants in that death grip, stayed a mix of ant brain, head muscles, fatty tissue, and fungus, and compared them to the heads of uninfected ants. What they found is disturbing. At the moment of the death grip, only about half of the cells inside the ant's head belonged to the ant. The other half were fungal cells. The invader had, quite literally, replaced the host from the inside out. During this zombie phase, the fungus activates a set of genes that appear to be unique to Ophiocordyceps unilateralis genes you don't find in its relatives, and a striking number of them target neurotransmitters. Specifically, genes affecting chemicals similar to serotonin, noradrenaline, and dopamine become very active while the ant is in its zombie state. Now, this matters. Serotonin depletion in ants is already known to prevent them from foraging properly. And in other animals, disruption of these same neurotransmitters can cause hallucinations and muscle spasms. So the fungus may literally be manipulating its host's behavior by hijacking its neurotransmitter systems. But there's more. Two genes known to regulate circadian rhythms, the daily activity clock, become hyperactivated in zombie ants. That is almost certainly why infected ants leave the nest at such an odd, specific hour. Their internal clock is being rewritten. On top of that, like other mind-manipulating fungi in its family, Ophiocordyceps unilateralis secretes an enzyme that has been shown to increase activity in insect hosts. That surge of hyperactivity could be the very thing that drives infected ants out of the nest and up the plant to their elevated place of death. Then comes the bite. The moment the ant clamps down on the leaf vein, the fungus flips another set of genetic switches. Some of these genes trigger the deterioration of the jaw muscles. That's what causes the permanent lockjaw. Others suppress the ant's immune system, clearing the way for fungal cells to grow unchecked through the head tissues. By the time the ant stops kicking, a full 75% of the cells in its head are fungal. And now the fungus switches modes, activating genes for digestion of the ant, cell growth, and reproduction, entering its rapid growth phase to build the reproductive stock that will rise from the corpse. So the next time you walk through a forest and glance up at the leaves, remember, somewhere above you, on the north side of a stem, exactly 25 centimeters up, a tiny corpse might be hanging there, the frozen final act of a story a fungus has been rehearsing for millions of years. The zombie was real. The puppet master was invisible. If you find this video interesting, share with the one who likes such curiosity-driven topics.